You're watching VinylicPumaGaming. Hey guys, back with another video, and today I wanted to try something different and talk about a recently re-released game on the PC called Vanquish. Now, this game was made by a Japanese studio called Platinum Games and was published by Sega about 7 years ago on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Now, the best way to describe this game is that it's kind of like Gears of War fused with Bayonetta and has crazy bullet time and much faster pacing overall. In the game, your player character, Sam Gideon, makes use of the Blade weapon system to quickly morph between various weapons like snipers, assault rifles, shotguns, and rocket launchers, just to name a few. Now, for this video, I figured we could go over some of what I think are the best weapons in Vanquish, as the PC port includes all of the vanilla game weapons, as well as some of the DLC weapons that were a part of the original Tri-Weapon Pack. If you're curious on what guns and weapons you should upgrade, or if you're trying to figure out what weapons you want to use, then I think this video should help you out a little bit. But without further ado, these will be what I think are the top 7 best guns and weapons in Vanquish for PC, starting now. Number 7, the sniper rifle. While the sniper rifle isn't necessarily one of my go-to weapons, the sniper rifle in Vanquish does have its uses. Some missions require it, and in general, the sniper rifle is great for picking off enemies at long range, especially those pesky sniper RIs that always seem to be at a considerable distance from you. But in general, most of the generic grunt RIs will go down in one shot, provided you perform a headshot. Otherwise, tougher enemies like Romanovs will take a decent amount of damage from a headshot, but it may take several shots to take them down. My main issue with the sniper rifle is that I'm not particularly crazy about how the weapon upgrades. While you get enhanced ammo capacity and better rate of fire, the actual projectile damage doesn't ever appear to increase. And this is bizarre when you consider that some of the starter weapons like the heavy machine gun and the assault rifle do. I also wish that you got a little more ammo for the sniper rifle. 10 to 24 shots depending on upgrade level can sort of disincentivize you from using the sniper rifle all the time. Even still, the sniper rifle is a good weapon and it should start to appear after the game's very first mission. At the very least, it's great for dealing with some of the more annoying ranged enemies, and you may find it's fairly decent up against tougher enemies' weak spots. Number 6, the laser cannon. Now, the laser cannon is a Tri-Weapons Pack DLC weapon and is essentially a fairly powerful laser that has infinite ammo. Or should I say, the ammo it uses regenerates over time, as it uses some of the energy that's used to power your suit. If you use this weapon too much, then the suit will overheat, and you will lose access to things like AR mode, as well as rocket propulsion for faster movement. While I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you use this particular weapon all the time, I still think that this weapon is perfect when used from cover. It's very accurate and it deals a decent amount of damage, and if you're running low on energy, you can always swap to a different weapon. I mentioned this before, but I would say the major downside to using this weapon is simply that it drains your suit's energy. There are some areas in the game where your suit will overheat, and when that occurs, this weapon is unusable. And it's also important to mention that if you melee puts your suit in a overheat state, which also makes the laser cannon unusable. Even still, this is a pretty decent weapon that you can get at the very start of the game. Otherwise, you should occasionally see it as you start some of Vanquish's various missions, and you should also occasionally come across it while checking various weapon crates. Of the DLC weapons, the laser cannon can be used most frequently without worrying about finding additional ammo. Number 5, the rocket launcher. So the rocket launcher is actually a little different in the PC port of Vanquish. Normally, you would get upgrades for the weapon and it would improve either lock-on time as well as the overall damage of the rockets themselves. However, on PC, it appears that lock-on is always pretty fast now. Now, I'm not sure if the rocket launcher in general has been entirely rebalanced for the PC version, or if this is an oversight of sorts when it comes to the PC port of Vanquish. Ultimately, if you ask me, I like the faster lock-on as it makes the rocket launcher much easier to use. But in general, the rocket launcher is capable of dealing a respectable amount of damage to enemies, and the lock-on does greatly boost its usefulness. The only downside I can think of is that the rocket launcher is mostly limited to just 3 shots. This is unfortunate and does limit my desire to upgrade it, especially since the lock-on appears to always be really fast now on the PC version. But overall, the rocket launcher is a nice weapon to occasionally use in a pinch, and while I wouldn't necessarily recommend upgrading this particular weapon, I still think you're going to want to pick these up in case you need to deal a lot of damage to enemies. If you're curious, the rocket launcher should start to appear after mission 6 in the first act. After that, be sure to check weapon crates like you would for all of the other weapons in the game. Number 4, the assault rifle. So the assault rifle is the very first weapon that you acquire in Vanquish, and in my opinion, it's better than many of the weapons you will end up acquiring much later on. In fact, if you're ever unsure which weapon you should upgrade, I would say upgrading the assault rifle is probably going to be your best choice. The assault rifle has a lot of things going for it. It's pretty accurate, it has high rate of fire, and through upgrades, you could potentially double the total amount of ammo you could carry for the assault rifle, you can significantly boost damage, and you can increase the weapon's magazine size by 60%, provided the weapon is fully upgraded. Now, to put things in perspective, the fully upgraded assault rifle is about as powerful as a level 5 through 9 heavy machine gun with better accuracy, rate of fire, bigger magazine size, and you can carry 1,200 rounds as opposed to roughly 400 or so. Like I said, the assault rifle is one of the starter weapons along with the heavy machine gun and the shotgun. If you're going to ditch any of those 3 weapons, I think you would be doing yourself a disservice if you got rid of the assault rifle. Number 3, the shotgun. As you might expect, the shotgun has terrible range compared to some of the other weapons. In fact, the lack of range may make you want to avoid it altogether in favor of something like the assault rifle. However, if you can minimize the distance between you and whatever you're shooting at, I think you'll find that the shotgun is perfect for taking out bigger targets that have a lot more health than some of the other weapons in the game. For example, certain enemy units like the small transportation craft for the red RIs or the big and bulky Romanov type enemies tend to go down much easier when you're using a shotgun at close range. The only real downsides in my mind are of course the lousy range and possibly the magazine size. I've occasionally found that as I'm playing that I'll enter AR or bullet time mode and discover that I need to reload my shotgun. This can be a pain sometimes, however if you just remember to manually reload, then you should be able to deal with this problem pretty easily. If you're having some trouble taking out larger enemies, then I would say that the shotgun is definitely for you. The shotgun is one of the weapons you start with at the very beginning of the game, and you should be able to find more as you play through the game. Number 2. The boost machine gun. So, the boost machine gun was one of the weapons that was added with the Try Weapons Pack DLC for Vanquish on Xbox 360 and PS3. I've got to say that this weapon is pretty OP when you compare it to the vanilla game's heavy machine gun. From what I could tell, this weapon is far more accurate than the standard heavy machine gun, however it tends to be less common, so finding ammo for it can prove to be pretty difficult. You're also getting a relatively small magazine size too, which may cause you to reload more than you would like. However, I think if you complement this weapon with the assault rifle or heavy machine gun, you can largely mitigate the small mag size. What you do as you're firing, simply swap to another weapon and you can keep your rate of fire and overall damage per second up. The increased accuracy makes this gun capable of dealing a lot of damage, and it should allow you to kill a bunch of these standard red RI robots with minimal effort. You may even find it's relatively effective against some of the large robots as well, and the weapon should allow you to pretty much tear through most things with ease. I'd say if you've ever wondered what the heavy machine gun and the assault rifle would be like when combined together, then this is it. Be sure to keep an eye out for this weapon as you open up some of the weapon crates throughout the game. If you're just starting Vanquish, this is a gun that I think you're going to want to upgrade. And number 1, the anti-armor pistol. So this weapon is essentially a really overpowered pistol and is most likely the blade weapon system's equivalent of a Magnum or Desert Eagle type pistol. Now, the amount of damage this particular weapon can deal is pretty impressive, and I think you'll find that you should be able to take most regular robot RI enemies out with relative ease. Like the boost machine gun, this weapon was from the Try Weapons Pack DLC for Vanquish, and this weapon reminds me a lot of the in-game shotgun. However, instead of firing multiple inaccurate projectiles, you're firing a single projectile for massive damage output. In a sense, I've found that I tend to use the anti-armor pistol and the shotgun in a similar way. Usually, I reserve this weapon for those larger enemies that can empty several assault rifle magazines, as the anti-armor pistol simply allows you to take them out much faster. Unfortunately, the anti-armor pistol has relatively uncommon ammo, and to start out, you're only getting about 20 shots or so. While upgrades definitely improve some things, this is a weapon that you can't use over and over again like you can with the assault rifle. With this said, if you conserve your ammo and you keep an eye out for the upgrades, I think you'll find that the anti-armor pistol is definitely worth using. Make sure to pick this gun up at the very beginning of the game, or as you see it in weapon crates. But alright guys, that's going to wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. And you know what, let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes on this video. If we can, great. If we can't, no big deal. But otherwise guys, again, like this video if you liked it, click the bell to join the notification squad. And as always, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.